All right, so we should be live. Hello,
Yes,
everyone from both communities. From the three communities, we have Sofia Crypto Meetup, we have Money on Chain, and we have RSK community. So hello, everyone from Sofia, Bulgaria. This is Vlad. I'm the co-founder, co-founder of Sofia Crypto Meetup, and I have two amazing guests with me today. We have two other co-founders. One of them is Gabriel Kurman from RSK, and we have Manuel Ferrari from Money on Chain, from the Money on Chain project. And today we will be talking about something very interesting, something that I've been super interested since actually the beginning of this year, which is actually late. And that's DeFi, but not DeFi on Ethereum where it usually happens, but DeFi on the mother blockchain, so-called, which is the Bitcoin blockchain. And we have our guests here who are going to talk about what Bitcoin can bring to the DeFi space and how do we develop a DeFi ecosystem on Bitcoin. Is this possible? What are the stumbling blocks? What are the issues and what are the opportunities, of course? So without further ado, I would ask Gabriel from RSK to commence with his presentation of what has happened to RSK. But actually, before jumping into that, 2 points. So we had RSK. This is actually the second time we have RSK as guest. 2 years ago, Alex Casas, who was an ambassador for RSK, joined our physical meetup. He was here in Sofia, and he did a meetup on basically what was happening with RSK. I think the mainnet was supposed to launch, so this was part of the launch program. So it was a very interesting presentation, and it's available in YouTube. If anyone's interested, you can go to the BitHope Foundation's YouTube channel and watch the presentation. And the second news that I want to mention, it relates to our next meetup, which is going to happen next Wednesday, the Sofia Crypto Meetup 54th meetup. And thanks to Money on Chain, everyone who joins us physically in the Co-Cafe will be able to enjoy beers and food. So they are sponsoring our alcoholism and gluttony. So very much a big thank you to Money on Chain, and we'll mention them again during the physical meetup in the Co-Cafe. So I speak too much. Let's jump right into the essence of this event, which is first RSK and then Money on Chain. So Gabriel, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Vlad. It's actually the beers and the physical meetups are one of the things that I'm missing the most about the good old days. It's interesting always to me to be in this kind of meetups, especially those who have been running for so many years, because this is how RSK was born. No? Actually, some of the conversations between the RSK founders and the Money on Chain founders happened back in the day in 2014, 2015, because we were all part of the initial Bitcoin community in Argentina first, and then in the rest of Latin America. We created the first Bitcoin center in the region, the most successful and longest running conference called La BitConf. And it was very easy for us in Argentina and Latin America to understand the value of Bitcoin because we have a long history of major financial problems: devaluations, hyperinflation, confiscations of the deposits by the banks and the government. So we understood the value of Bitcoin probably in the same way that the rest of the world, especially in the US and Europe, are understanding it now. No? So Bitcoin has been built for those moments or those areas where the financial system is broken and not functioning properly. So to us, it was a no-brainer that Bitcoin could play a key role as the future of gold in humankind. The problem we saw is that in 2015, when Ethereum launched, is that in order to build the fully decentralized and open financial system available to everyone in this planet, we needed smart contracts and programmability at the same time that we needed Bitcoin proof of work security. We couldn't choose between one or the other, because the solution needed to be fully automated to be able to hold millions of nano transactions and super scalable, but at the same time super secure. So that's the reason why we decided to create RSK. It was, again, a no-brainer for us. Instead of building a new token or building a new community, was just building additional functionality to the most important, blockchain and community in the world, who was the Bitcoin community. So we've been building this for 5 years now. It's super nice that you guys saw it for the first time in 2018. In January 2018, we launched the mainnet on January 3rd, celebrating Bitcoin's, Genesis block. And 2 years later, we have 60% of total Bitcoin hashing power merge mining RSK. So RSK is now the second most secure network in the world after Bitcoin. And in terms of smart contract or EVM compatible blockchains, we are the most secure in the world, with fees that are, I think, 100 times lower than Ethereum as of today. So, it's kept on going slowly but steady. And since the beginning of this year, I would say coincidentally with the launch of Money on Chain in December last year, we've experienced an explosion in growth of projects building on top of RSK. It also coincides with the fact that Ethereum is having major problems in their scalability and their fees, and the whole uncertainty about moving to proof of stake and just rebuilding the blockchain completely. So several reasons over there, but I think we can say that DeFi for Bitcoin is a reality now, that more and more users are interested in using our technology, especially in Argentina, in Venezuela, and other parts of the world. And also, we have around 50 projects building really innovative solutions on RSK right now. Money on Chain is one of the most important ones, so Manu is going to be explaining you. But basically, what Money on Chain is doing is one of the dreams why we created RSK at the beginning, which was the possibility of issuing stable coins where the value is coming from Bitcoin collateral. Now you need an Argentine peso or a Brazilian real or an Indian rupee or a US dollar, as we have today with the dollar on chain. You just put your Bitcoins in collateral, and through oracles, you create the fiat currency that regular users need for everyday nano transactions, but with all the flexibility and programmability of smart contracts. So the way we created RSK was in such a way that every single stakeholder in the ecosystem benefit if RSK is successful. So for Bitcoin miners, it's a no-brainer. We are just giving them 80% of total value created on RSK goes to the miners. So that's the reason why we have 60% of total mining pools already integrated and contributing to their hashing power to secure smart contracts on RSK. We also use Bitcoin on a one-to-one peg, converting into smart Bitcoins as the native token of RSK. So if RSK is successful and we have millions in DeFi solutions, that implies millions of Bitcoins locked in the two-way peg, which is a higher demand for Bitcoin and contributes to every Bitcoiner. But also for the projects building solutions on Ethereum or other Solidity smart contracts, this is an amazing solution and probably a safety net in case something goes wrong in Ethereum, either gas fees are too expensive that some use cases cannot afford, or something with the delay of Ethereum 2.0. So we have seen many top-level projects such as MakerDAO using the RSK Ethereum bridge. So it's very easy to send tokens back and forth. So we have RDAI also available on RSK, and Chainlink team also made the Link token available and their oracles available on RSK. And I mean, if you see from day one, we've been always pushing towards interoperability. Given that the purpose and the reason why we built RSK is to foster financial inclusion and this open financial system available to all, especially those who are currently excluded from it, we don't care whether it's in our blockchain or the other blockchain. We care about solutions that will serve users and transform their lives and give freedom to the individuals, following those mandates and ideas that Satoshi, gave us. So we believe that in the long term, solutions will just choose the infrastructure that is the most secure at the lowest cost. And we are free riding on Bitcoin security. So I think RSK could play a key role in offering billions of users around the world extreme high level of security at extremely low cost. So this is where we are now. The major milestone is a 60% total Bitcoin hashing power securing the network. And for those in the community that know how to program smart contracts in Solidity, RSK is 100% EVM compatible. So you can use Truffle, you can use Web3, all the methods and everything is fully compatible. You just need to change the checksum to avoid confusions. You can use MetaMask, Nifty, and all the same tools. And it's a green space to cherry pick solutions from other blockchains and deploy them into RSK. So we have now Money on Chain is one of the most important projects in the space and growing a tremendous space. Also, we have Sovereign launching their beta version now, which enables lending and margin trading. We have the RSK Swap, which is a liquidity pool where everyone in the community can help create liquidity and make money out of it. And I think for a Bitcoiner, it's a no-brainer to use and support DeFi for Bitcoin. Because when you're using dollar on chain, as Manu will mention now, you're basically staking Bitcoin, you're helping your Bitcoins gain value, at the same time that you enable the issuance of dollar on chain, which are individual users and families and their savings. The other thing that I think is important to share with the local Bitcoin communities is that we all need to work together to kind of change this spirit of Bitcoin maximalism only. Because, I mean, I am 100% maximalist on the monetary layer. I like the Bitcoin governance. I like the fact that it is anti-fragile. And I understand that Bitcoin as a store of value is the most important use case that we've seen in the last 5,000 years. Now, we need also to get Bitcoiners curious about innovation on second layers. Because otherwise, it's like if we are telling the world we don't care about fintech, we don't care about financial derivatives and the financial system, we are happy with our gold bars, and that's it. It's very anti-innovation, and what's going to happen is that all that innovation and programmability will go somewhere else. And if this somewhere else becomes large enough, probably people will be willing to sacrifice the security and scarcity of this digital gold bar, this Bitcoin, because of the functionality and flexibility that the other solutions are generated on additional layers, regardless that they have been built in a weaker base layer. So we joke about it, and we call ourselves Bitcoin mutants, in the sense that we are maximalist on the monetary side, but also we encourage and are very excited about innovation on Bitcoin sidechains and second layers, because we believe that proof of work is something that only Bitcoin and its sidechains will be able to enjoy in the future. It's so expensive that it won't make any sense for any other blockchain apart from Bitcoin and its sidechains to use this luxury that we call proof of work. So having said that, it's a pleasure to be back in Bulgaria. I have good friends in Bulgaria and many stories. I wish in the near future we're going to be able to do a new physical meetup, so we can share some beers as we did in the past. And again, thank you very much for inviting us. You can contact me. I'll give you also my email. If anyone is interested in developing a solution on RSK or forking something or porting any solution, well, more than happy to help you. We are talking to Bitcoiners around the world now to share this message that now we have additional layers where the sky is the limit, where we can program anything we can dream of, and we are here to help all those communities willing to build on DeFi for Bitcoin, as we've done with Money on Chain, as Manu will share with you now.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this introduction, let's call it, to RSK and what you guys have been doing for the past 2 years. It sounds really great, and I must tell you that I feel completely, I completely agree with your ideas about Bitcoin maximalism, and I completely share them. Actually, I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin as digital gold, but I'm also a big fan of the innovation that is happening on Ethereum and the pace of the innovation happening there. It's not always perfect, of course. There are hacks and exploits and things like that, but I think this is just the part of the price of evolution. And completely agree, Bitcoiners and well, we shouldn't call them shitcoiners. I'm a shitcoiner as well, but they should unite, because this blockchain vision and crypto vision is a unified thing. And I believe that our success is shared, and so is our defeat, so to say. Great. So thank you again, Gabriel. And now, Manuel, let's see what Money on Chain is and how it functions. Super interesting.
Thank you, Vlad. First, thank you, Gabriel, for all your introduction. I want to start first telling that what Gabriel says is completely true. If you have a project to build onto a Bitcoin layer 2, approach to RSK. They are a great partner to work with. Actually, my personal story that I sometimes tell, when we have this dream didn't exist a stablecoin built with Bitcoin, and Max, which is my partner, thought about that many years ago, and he got with me and he told me, well, we discuss a lot about building this. How are we going to build it? Well, there is this technology, RSK, is going to be launched at the end of the year. This was in 2017. Afterward, we have worked a lot. We met with Dieguito, which is another co-founder of RSK. And it was actually in a Bitcoiners meetup. It was a rainy day, and we told Dieguito, well, he's a rock star in Argentina, as you imagine, Dieguito. So we waited for him a little bit till he had some time. And Dieguito, we have this idea, what you think about, well, that's why we built RSK. We built RSK because we wanted to build a stablecoin with Bitcoin as collateral. Okay, so I said, shit, he's going to do it. We told our idea, he's already going, but he immediately told us, you will have all our support. We have enough to do with RSK, and that's how really it all started. Maybe similar to the story that sometimes I listen to Dieguito when he tells that he joined with. I didn't actually know the story completely. Another co-founder of RSK shared a white paper to Nick Szabo about RSK, and he told him, this is my idea, don't share it, whatever. And Nick just put a resend in Twitter. I just read this is great. And that's how all started. So these stories are for sure. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about before starting talking about money on chain. And the other thing is, I already sent you some docs, some dollar on chain for the beers for next meetup. You can spend it, or you can change it for BitPro and wait a couple of months. Maybe you can do a brindis with champagne, or invite 2 or 3 more times friends, whatever you want. Yeah. That's also no, it's a joke. Hope you can do this meetup next time with beers with dollar on chain, and then we met next year, and we chose again with the Bitcoin price in the moon.
No, actually, I will accept your suggestion, and yeah, the beers and the food will remain, but those will be sponsored by the Sofia Crypto Meetup Fund. But we'll keep this Bitcoin dollars, and let's see what's going to happen. So
Bitcoin are not going to move. Actually, in Bitcoin terms, are going to be less. I would recommend you, now we will see, you can redeem the dollar on chain to RBTC, and then BitPro, which is a token, is the token in the protocol if you want to hold Bitcoin and earn more Bitcoins in the long term. So we'll see. We have done this with a meetup in Spain with Crypto Plaza, which is a big meetup in Spain. Actually, we did not send them any docs. They have their treasury, and they put some of the Bitcoins they have in BitPro. And after a couple of months, he called me to tell me, well, we have to record the performance of this token because it's been. Actually, I will ask him again if he's already holding, but. So I'm being a little bit spoiler. Let's go to, I have a presentation. I will share a presentation and then a demo. And I would love to have any question from the audience that they might have. Is okay?
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay. So let me share my presentation. And Vlad, please, if something I'm explaining you don't follow or I'm not being clear, just stop me and ask whatever. Let's think that at least you are one of the persons in the public. Okay?
Sure.
So, as Gabriel was explaining, our idea when building money on chain is helping to bring Bitcoin to the mainstream. There is a term in Argentina, what we call Doña Rosa, which is John Doe, is the person, a normal person who is a normal person, who is not very sophisticated, but a normal person who is not very technically or financially sophisticated is not going to use in their normal lives Bitcoin. So all we are building is for enabling this Doña Rosa, this person who could be your mother, your aunt, whoever, your sister, who is not really in Bitcoin, who does not understand a lot of the volatility on Bitcoin, to be able to use Bitcoin and maybe to use Bitcoin without realizing that they are using Bitcoin. So we really think that Bitcoin is the basis of a new financial system, of the new financial system of the future, which will be open, censorship resistant, and decentralized. And so if we were going to build a different financial system, we needed to build it on top of Bitcoin, with Bitcoin in the center. And the problem that how we started, actually, because now money on chain is much more than this, but the problem that we faced for Bitcoin adoption, the main problem we thought was volatility. And that's the main problem that we wanted to solve. And the way to solve it was to invent, because before there was not other one, Bitcoin and only Bitcoin-backed stablecoin. And why? Because, as I mentioned, Doña Rosa, a person, a car salesman is not going to sell you a car in Bitcoin terms, because then he have to go back and pay to the factory, and the price of the Bitcoin could move 10% up or 10% down in one day, and it's not a very good unit of account to use it in business. Really, I think I don't need to explain the necessity of stablecoins. You know that Tether, USDC are the most traded cryptocurrencies tokens in the world, and that's because they are useful. The Bitcoiners use stablecoins, and other people, crypto fans, use stablecoins, so they are needed. We as Bitcoiners, especially as Argentines, as people who the founders of Money on Chain, who have lived in countries where have lost all their savings in banks, in institutions that you cannot trust. Well, for us, it's inconceivable to use a stablecoin which is collateralized with deposits in a bank. Is something that I would never dare to use a Tether. I maybe you could be completely, you could trust Tether, and I really hope that there is no problem with that. But the problem is you have to trust someone. So if you are a Bitcoiner, the idea of trusting an institution, someone to hold your money, well, that's something that we think is not good. And the problem is not when it's going to, it's not if it's going to be a problem. For us, the only question is when it's going to have a problem, this kind of centralized solution. So we wanted to build a decentralized solution, open source protocol that anyone can audit, anyone can see how it works, and which will make this problem of volatility to go away. So we initially have this idea of building a stablecoin, and this is actually one of the three main tokens that now the protocol has. But at the end, we built a lot of pieces of software. So we have a token for governance. Actually, this is not launched yet. This is going to be launched in the following weeks. We've been building. Actually, we are now building all the protocol and actually nearly doing the audits. What is already built is the stablecoin protocol. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I thought there was a question. So we have running what we call the stablecoin protocol, which has some tokens. I'm going to explain. That's been running since December last year, and it's been running without any problem. It's been shown to be a very robust protocol. Then we have a decentralized Oracle. I'm not going to go deep on that. This is actually running on our testnet. We have a semi-decentralized oracles running now for the stablecoin protocol, but the final version, the completely decentralized oracle, is going to be also launched by the end of this year, most probably. And the third piece that we needed to build for the protocol was a decentralized token exchange. This actually is ready, and we are going to launch it in the following days. And this is a decentralized token exchange for any token in the RSK network. So regarding what is now, what anybody can use today. Today, you can use this stablecoin platform. This stablecoin platform has three main tokens. One token is called the dollar on chain. The dollar on chain is the first and only stablecoin that is fully backed 100% only by Bitcoin. If you are using dollar on chain, you are using Bitcoin. The only difference is that the price of the dollar on chain is pegged to the US dollar. Then you have a second token, which is in the core, in the heart, in el corazón, in the heart of the platform, which is the BitPro. The BitPro is like a liquidity token. Is Bitcoiners that wants to add liquidity to the protocol send their smart Bitcoins, which is called RBTC, and they get BitPro. And what have this BitPro, this token? This token has a little bit of leverage. It has an income, a passive income, and it also adds some what we call liquidity mining that I'm going to explain afterwards. And the third token is a leverage Bitcoin holding position. That means that when you send your RBTC, you will get a leverage Bitcoin position. If the price of Bitcoin goes up 20%, your BTCX will go up 40%, and vice versa. So it's a risky token meant for traders that want to do leverage operations in the protocol. So that's what's been working since December last year. Now I'm going to go a little bit deeper on each of them. Okay?
Perfect.
So regarding, let me know if you have any question. I'm going to explain each of them, but if you have any question from the before, just stop me, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Regarding the dollar on chain, I'm going to talk just about some different differentiators with other stablecoins. First, a most important difference, as I mentioned before, if you are fond of Bitcoin, if you think that Bitcoin should grow, we think Bitcoin is great. And when you are holding dollar on chain, you are holding Bitcoin. So imagine if you are a Bitcoiner and $15 billion that now are seated in bank accounts for collateralizing Tether, hopefully, or USDC or whatever, goes to Bitcoin to collateralize a Bitcoin stablecoin. So only imagine that how how Bitcoin will behave. I cannot imagine, actually. And then the other biggest technical difference is that if the price of the token is pegged, what we call a hard peg with the price of US dollar. If you send $20 to the protocol, you will get $20, vice versa. And this is guaranteed each 30 days. When it's the settlement date, all the dollar on chain can be sent to the smart contract. And at that date, all tokens will be able to redeem one-to-one. So that's actually not require this token to have a secondary market. If you have a Tether or USDC or DAI or whatever other token, as a normal user, you are not able to mint it yourself. What you have to do is to buy it in a secondary market. And in that secondary market, this is a study of prices. I have seen many of these. If you analyze the price of all these stablecoins, they are not so stable. So if you are trading a lot of money in stablecoins, well, it's not something good to have a stable token that should be pegged 1-to-1. And actually that moves from 1.06 to 0.99, because you will lose 7% in 2 days, and you are not wanting to have a volatility token. You want to have a stable token. So that's one of the core differences. So it's meant mainly for Bitcoiners who wants to increase the use of Bitcoin, and it has some technicals also differentiator, as I just mentioned. There is another one which is quite important for retail now because of how the networks are running. If you want to send, if you want to pay the pizza with dollar and chain, you can do it, because it costs you, the transaction costs you like moving a token in RSK costs you like 1 cent of a dollar, or 2 cents, less than 2 cents normally. So try to do that in another blockchain. It costs, right now, it costs much more. So for using in retail, actually, I know of pizza stores that are selling pizzas in Buenos Aires for dollar and chain. Of course, there is already people selling the apartments in Argentina and Venezuela. There is many people selling apartments in dollar and chain. So the second token is the BitPro. The BitPro is a token designed for Bitcoin holders. When we were designing this protocol, at one moment I asked my partner, okay, but if you were going to put your Bitcoins, your personal Bitcoins in this protocol, what should have this token for you? So we built this token thinking on hardcore Bitcoiners who want to get some more Bitcoins for providing collateral to the protocol. So what you get is, first, you have something that is not very common, not very often for Bitcoiners, to have free leverage. You send your Bitcoins. What you will doing, you will be minting BitPro, and the BitPro will have some more leverage. That leverage is the volatility that is taken out from the dollar on chain. That leverage is not so high, normally being between 1.1, 1.2, but this is free leverage. So if you are long on the price of Bitcoin, well, if the price of Bitcoin goes up, the BitPro, all the simulations that we run from 2014 till 2019, when we have all the data available, it showed that the BitPro should increase much faster in price than the BTC. One of the reasons is for this free leverage. The other reasons is because it gets some income, what we call coded income, from other actors in the protocol. These BTCX traders, when they want to get leverage, they get most of the leverage from the BitPro, and they have to pay for that. So now you have a token that has leverage, a little bit of leverage, plus an interest rate that is being paid by other actors in the system, plus a percentage of the fees that are charged in the system goes to the BitPro holders, plus part of the governance tokens, which are the mock tokens that I'm going to explain a little bit more by the end, receive most of the fees of the protocol. So at the end, you will receive free leverage, coded income, fees from the platform, plus a token that gets most of the fees from the protocol. So there is a lot of incentives. Of course, you hold your keys. You can secure it in a hardware wallet, and you will be able to change it in the text, which is a decentralized chain that we are going to launch in the following days. But already you can exchange it in RSK swap, that is like Uniswap, but running on RSK, or peer-to-peer, as originally was with Bitcoin. And you can obviously, under certain condition, up to now, always you've been able to redeem it for RBTC in the platform. So I was talking about performance. This is actually what I love about the protocol, that all these thousands of simulations up to now have shown to work. The protocol have shown to work as we expected. Actually, the adoption, if we see the total value log and other metrics, you will see that is increasing each time a little bit faster, but it's as the way as we expected, because this needs some history to show that the performance is as we expected. Actually, when we started building this, everybody told us, you are crazy. It's impossible to build a stablecoin with crypto as collateral. And actually, if you see this is the crypto crash in March this year. In this year, other crypto collateralized stablecoin crashed. They have to change the model. They have to not to use only crypto as collateral, but to add a stablecoin with other token with bank accounts as collateral. And in that day, our protocol, no problem at all. It was business as usual. We have certain mechanism to be activated in this kind of scenarios to incentivize people, Bitcoiners, to add a liquidity to the protocol. No, it was not needed to activate any of. Obviously, they are automatic mechanisms. No of these mechanisms was activated. And what we are seeing in this graph, this is the price of BPRO in red. In yellow is the price of Bitcoin. As you see, when the price of Bitcoin starts to increase, the difference start to be higher. And in blue, actually, you are seeing the difference in the price of BPRO against BTC. So yesterday, actually, the price of BPRO reached $20,000. So it was like more than 14% the price of Bitcoin. And that's what our simulation showed that was going to happen. And this does not count some of the incentives that are not yet activated. So we really think that this BPRO token is an amazing tool for Bitcoiners who wants to provide liquidity to the protocol, make possible that the dollar on chain be issued, and people in Argentina, Venezuela, Nigeria, and many other places where they cannot use a bank account with dollars for many different reasons, they can use a stablecoin, a non-censorable stablecoin. And so you are enabling that use case as a Bitcoiner. Is great, more use cases for Bitcoin. And on the other hand, you earn some more Satoshis. So that's the idea. And regarding the BTCX, as I mentioned before, this is a token thought for leverage Bitcoin traders. If the leverage is set to 2 each 30 days, so it's a 30-day position. This might change in the future, but right now it's a 30-day position. It has a fixed cost. If you redeem your token before the 30 days, you will get part of the cost back. But it has no margin call. So if the price of Bitcoin goes down 50% in this period, you will lose your Bitcoins. And if you did not understand what I'm been talking very shortly in this last 30 seconds, don't use this token. First, learn a lot about leverage Bitcoin operations. It's a risky token. Okay, of course, some people, for example, these last 30 days, these 60 days, is extremely happy because they are getting a lot of satoshis for using this token. But be aware, for example, in March this year, well, the people who had BTCX like me, I lost my Bitcoins. Anyway, I did an operation again and I got it back. But it's a risky token, okay? The last thing I'm just going to talk 2 minutes is the text. The text is, if you are aware of Kyber, for example, in Ethereum or other decentralized exchange, is a sort of decentralized exchange. The biggest difference is the method that we use, which is based on the London Gold Fix method. And that assures to have a fair price when you make an offer. There's 2 ways to make an offer. You can make a limit order or a market order, and when you make this order, you will get at least the price that you have offered or less. If you want to buy, you will buy for the amount that you want to buy or less, and if you want to sell, vice versa. But the biggest advantage, in difference to other like Uniswap, other exchanges, is that you don't have this slippage. So you can make an offer even if there is not enough liquidity in the exchange. So actually, we built this decentralized exchange taking into account new protocols that, like our protocols and many other protocols that are building now in RSK, that need this kind of exchanges that are able to trade with low volume. Okay. The last thing is the MOC token. The MOC token is going to be launched in the following months. This token will, right now, of course, we don't have bank accounts. All the Bitcoins are locked in smart contracts on which we don't have access. The only thing that we can do right now is to upgrade these smart contracts and to change some parameters. Actually, we are going to freeze that very shortly. The only ones that are going to be able to change it are the MOC token holders that will need to vote or veto for the upgrades or the updates or the changes on the parameters of the protocol. And what's the big benefits of having this token? Most of the revenue stream of the platform will go to so when you mint bPro or Dollar on Chain, or you do a BTCX operation, or you trade in the token exchange, the protocol charge you a very small fee, is 0.1%, but that fee is going to be shared with the MOC token holders. Also, you will have part of these MOC tokens are not going to be issued at the beginning and are going to be only shared between the MOC token holders. And that, for example, if you want to get, normally people ask me, how I will be able to get MOC token? Well, if you add liquidity to the protocol, some of the MOCs, a big chunk of the MOCs are going to be shared to the bPro holders that are providing liquidity. That is a feature that we are going to implement in the following weeks. The last thing is you will be able to pay with an important discount for using this protocol. The fees you will be able to pay with MOC. So this is, I will leave this graph with this presentation. You have it, Vlad. So this is a graphic of how all these pieces get together. When I talk, well, we have a stablecoin protocol. Well, it's a little bit more complex. It's a little bit of many pieces. It's a big puzzle. This is working. Not all part. This is already built. This is working, and this is nearly finished. This is going to be launched in the following days, and this is in the following weeks and months. Okay. So I will very shortly show you. I don't know if there is any question, or I do the demo and then we go to the question. Vlad, what you prefer?
Manu, while you prepare the demo, let me say something that's going to be relevant for our friends from Bulgaria. There's a plan in the roadmap to issue a euro on-chain in the future, as every single other stablecoin that now with an oracle can be built. So, we need to see, when the time is right. But I'm really looking forward to see a euro stablecoin and also a South African rand, an Argentine peso, Brazilian real, and especially those stablecoins from emerging markets where people need it for daily trading, because I think everyone's dream is to see stablecoins backed by Bitcoin moving from just trading hedges that traders use to protect when the market goes down into everyday use and mass adoption for nano payments that currently cannot be done or can only be done in cash. So I'm really looking forward to see a euro on chain, and I'm sure the community in Bulgaria will benefit from it as well.
Yes, definitely. The euro on chain is in our roadmap. Hopefully, we can implement it in 2021. And of course, also we have projects in Mexico that ask for us for the peso mexicano on chain, the one on chain. We are going to build that. We want to finish the whole package, the whole platform having the token, the governance token, the decentralized oracles, like have all these pieces together working, running smoothly. And then next step will be definitely building this kind of solution, new stablecoins, and also, for example, enabling 20x leverage operation, long and short. So there's many more things that we have in our roadmap. So regarding the protocol, if you go from our webpage, here is user access. You go to stablecoin protocol. It will open something like this. Actually, first time you will see that you cannot connect if you don't have a MetaMask wallet. You can connect, or the MetaMask wallet. Here you see the MetaMask wallet is connected. If you need to add the RPC personalized, you can connect it through that. Or here, if you have in how to, here you have instruction how to connect, or the MetaMask wallet, which is the most used wallet in DeFi, or you have the Nifty wallet, which is a fork from the MetaMask, where you don't need to do this step. Okay, so here are instruction how to configure all your wallet. If you don't have RBTC, that's something quite possible. You will need to switch some. You can switch some bitcoins to RBTC. It's very easy. You just go to coinswitch.com and move from BTC to RBTC. This is just one way to do it. There is sovereign fast swap. You can exchange it in that's a little bit too much. So you can switch BTC to RBTC using this kind of services from Bitfinex, from KuCoin. So it's listed in major exchange. When you have, or you can use the bridge actually also. That's also something that hardcore Bitcoiner ask. But I don't want to use a exchange. Okay, you can go here in our blog. We have an article that explains how to use the two-way peg to get RBTC using the two-way peg. So once you have the RBTC, you are in the platform, you have your MetaMask wallet or Nifty wallet configured. You have, this is the home screen, you have the dollar on chain. If you want to mint $10 on chain. You just put here, I want to mint $10 on chain. It will tell me from my RBTC how many is going to be used. And in this process, I will going to mint. I'm my own central bank, minting my own dollars. And here I'm minting my $10 on chain using smart Bitcoins. So in a couple of seconds, it normally takes 40 seconds, I will have my new $10 on chain. Exactly the same process is to minting your BitPro. So if you want to mint some BitPro, I'm going to mint $200 in BitPro. It will tell you the fee, that is 0.1%, and I'm going to mint this, what we call the Bitcoin on steroids, which is this Bitcoin that gets some free leverage plus a passive income. So this is very easy to do. As you see, the way to redeem also is the same, but the other way around. And here you can see also the metrics of the platform. So, for example, the price of BitPro now is $20,477. I'm very happy. And this is the amount of Bitcoin in the system. This is the leverage, as I mentioned, is currently 1.11. We thought that normally would be 1.1, so it's working as expected. So that's a very, as you see already, one of the transactions being confirmed in the RSK blockchain. And in a couple of seconds, we will have the other one. So now I have a little more of that. This is already confirmed, and in a couple of seconds, I will have some more BitPro. So, Vlad, I don't know if there is any question from you or from the audience.
I'm muted. Yeah, that looked really nice. But was that exchange? Is this exchange already live?
Yes, this has been running since December of last year. Actually, I will show you some graphs about some stats. This is the stats of money on chain. You can see them live in our webpage. So up to now, there is like 232 Bitcoins, equivalent Bitcoins in the system. There's more than $4 million in the system. This is the increase in the token supply. This performance that I showed earlier, this is the live performance of the BitPro. So as I mentioned, it's getting versus BTC like 13% in 1 year. So yes, this is live. You can use it right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to exchange for BitPros. Yeah, this is something I'd like to try. Looks and in relation to this, because this graph that you showed us, that kind of exemplifies this leverage that BitPro users are automatically getting. So when the Bitcoin price goes down, I saw that in the graph, the BitPro price doesn't go below the Bitcoin.
No. Actually, it went below. This is I should let me, if I'm not. Let me show you here. For example, the price of BitPro was, the BTC was at this date of March 14. The price of Bitcoin was 5,410. I'm very, very sad that I don't sold my house to buy Bitcoin at that time. Or BitPro. But the BitPro was a little bit lower. And actually, if you ask me what I think, I don't think that in the long term, the BitPro is ever going to be lower than the price of Bitcoin, but we cannot assure that. The BitPro is a token that is the collateral in the system. So if the price of Bitcoin crashes right now, in 1 minute 99%, what happens is that the system is liquidated, and all the bitcoins in the system goes to the dollar chain holders, okay? Because they protect the stablecoin protocol. So it has as what we think is a calculated risk. That's not free, this leverage that you have. It adds a risk on your bitcoins. In the following version that we will have, it's not going to be possible to be liquidated. But yes, there is a small chance that the BPRO will go down. Actually, when the price of Bitcoin goes down, as the price of BPRO has a little bit of leverage, normally the price of BPRO will go down faster. So, for example, now the price of BPRO is $20,000. If you invest in some Bitcoin, suppose you put 1 Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin goes down 10%, you will lose, instead of losing 10% in terms of dollars, you will lose 11% because you have this leverage. So this leverage in the short term, if the price goes up, it plays you in favor. If the price goes down, play you against. But you have to take on account that on top of this leverage, it gets other revenue streams that only can add value to the token. So in the short, it's a token thought for Bitcoin hodlers. Is you change a little bit of your Bitcoins, you leave it there, it provides liquidity to the protocol, but it's more thought for hodlers, not for trading. If you are trading on the price of Bitcoin, well, maybe you can use BTCX, but you can use also BPRO. Some people use it, but in the short term, as it has leverage, well, if the price of Bitcoin goes down, you will lose more Bitcoins holding BPRO in that case. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't. As far as I can see, it's not such a dramatic difference. I mean, losing 10%, losing 11%. So
well,
it's just, yeah.
This was the biggest drop in the price of Bitcoin in the last 7 years. So here you can see a real. This is why this year is like marvelous for launching this project, because we had a huge crash. We're now starting a bull run. So it's marvelous to see how the protocol been behaving in this year.
Yeah, and during this crash, I saw that it went down by $200, and currently it's up by 3,000 almost. So it's yeah.
All this information is in the blockchain, so we cannot fake anything of this. This is open. Actually, we have the APIs. You can use it. You can analyze it. This is real stuff.
Cool. So one more something that I didn't quite get. It was related to BTCX, and it's a leverage position for 30 days, is what you mentioned.
Yeah.
So what happens in 30 days? It just settles, and you have to what happens with the BTX?
It settles, and at that moment, so I am going to show you in the platform. For example, I have here some positions I made. Let me see before. I made here a position in, well, this is failed. I mint here, here you can see, I sent to the protocol, protocol wallet 0.35 RBTC. At that moment, there was a price, and what happens? After a couple of days, this was on October 15, and a couple of days later, it was this is mint, this is settlement. And in the settlement date, what happens is that it sent me back their BTC. at this moment, that position that I made, instead of 0.035, it was more Bitcoins, because in that period, the price of Bitcoin went like crazy up. And luckily, I did not mint the same on this date, because I was aware, well, maybe now it's going to have a correction. So I'm a little bit sad. But anyway, all in all, this been a small good trade. But yes, what happens is that the protocol gives you back your BTC, and it sends it to your wallet at the price of their Bitcoin X at that moment. And at that moment, the price of the BTCX starts again to be equal to Bitcoin. So, for example, the last settlement was this date, November 15. From that date, it was like 3 days ago. Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you minted at that moment, instead of now having, if you minted 1 Bitcoin, instead of having the equivalent of $17,000 or $18,000, you will have already 20. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because it seems that it earned like, I don't know how much, but a lot.
Can you only mint on settlement dates?
No, you can mint any day. So the only difference is that on the settlement date, here you can see in the metrics, on the settlement date, the leverage offered by the system is 2. If the price of Bitcoin increases, the leverage offered in the system will go slowly down. So now, for example, the leverage offered in the system is 1.79. Mm-hmm. And if the price of Bitcoin goes up, the leverage offered in the system will go up. Okay. So you have to be aware of that. So it's not actually 2. It depends on but it is resettled each 30 days. This is, as it says in the URL, this is an alpha version. The next version, most probably this leverage operation will work differently. And one important thing is, if you, for example, now make a leverage operation, your leverage for that operation will be 1.79. It's fixed at that moment, okay? It's not going to increase and move or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the leverage offered in the system change with the price of Bitcoin. That's something that happens with this protocol.
Very interesting. So this is really, really interesting. I didn't thought that something like this really existed, so I'm super grateful that you presented this, and I think this will be very interesting to Sofia Crypto Meetup users and both Bitcoin maximalists and non-Bitcoin maximalists.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, really like it. So final question on my part, and I think there are a few coming from the audience. So the token exchange that you are about to launch, is it based on order book, or is it based on
on our order book? It is based. The method is based on the London Gold Fix Exchange, which is the exchange on which gold been traded in the last 200 years. So we use it. We've been inspired in that method. Obviously, we changed a lot of things, but we took the inspiration on that method. And what happens is you have a lot of sell orders and buy orders, and the orders are matched at one moment, and the average price is set. So all people who is buying is going to buy for the offer or less. It will cost you what you offer or less, and the seller will sell for the price they want to sell or more. So that's how it works. And you can put this what is called a limit order. And the other thing you can make is a market maker order. When you put a market maker order, you say this uses our oracles. So we have the price of Bitcoin that in the platform. For example, the price of Bitcoin, here is the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is calculated using the most the biggest exchange that trade US dollar against Bitcoin. It's a mean, and there is a statistical analysis and whatever. And so we have the price of Bitcoin, and you will be able, for example, to make an offer 0.5% below this. I will buy. And anyone who puts a limit order, well, you will buy if the price is this or 5% less of that.
Okay.
So that's how it works. But we will launch it in the following days. We will have a video. We will have instructions, and hopefully anyone who been trading in exchange will be easily use it. If not, we are going to do other presentations.
Okay, I understand. So it's more of an order book kind of. So there is no liquidity. Automated.
No, it's different for that. I was just going to show this. Actually, maybe in Crypto Sofia, may be interested to see RSK Swap, which is a fork of Uniswap. And it's already running. You can trade your dollar on chain or your BPRO or RBTC or RIF or whatever in this DEX. So this is actually, the DEX is going to be the second decentralized exchange running on RSK. There is already one, which is the team from RSK Swap, which is nice. It's great.
Cool, great. I think there are a few questions. One is coming from, maybe we can get the Santiago's one first.
There's one about Lightning Network and RSK that I can answer.
This is the one here by Milen.
Awesome. It's a very good question, and it's something that we understood a couple of years ago, that there were some very important infrastructure components that were available on the Ethereum ecosystem and other blockchains that we needed to have on top of RSK to make sure that complex smart contract solutions could be built. So we made a decision of creating this additional project next to RSK that we call RSK Infrastructure Framework, which is a set of fully open source infrastructure solutions called RIF from RSK Infrastructure Framework that are built on top of RSK and available for the whole ecosystem. So one of these modules is called RIF Identity. The idea is that RIF Identity will provide a unified set of libraries and an open source user interface that could also be used by the community there to inspire new use cases, where users are going to be able to own their self-sovereign identity solution directly, getting credentials integrated with UPort and EDM3 and the main framework of libraries and available on top of RSK. Then we also have RIF Storage, which is integrated with Swarm and IPFS, enabling Bitcoiners and RSK users to seamlessly interact and store storage on a decentralized manner using any of the tokens from the RSK. We also have RIF Communications that enables peer-to-peer relay of messages. We also have RIF Payments, which is working on the scalability on top of RSK. As part of RIF Payments, we have the Lumino network, which is in a sense similar to Raiden on Ethereum or Lightning on Bitcoin, that enables to create state channels with thousands of transactions per second at almost zero cost through hubs in the network. And Lumino has been built from day one to be fully compatible with Lightning. Right? We are big fans of everything that is being built as part of DeFi for Bitcoin, which includes all the RSK ecosystem, includes the liquid solutions from Blockstream, includes Lightning, and we want to make sure that everything is compatible and interoperable. So we dream in the future a user having his or her Bitcoins in a Lightning wallet and being able to start the payment in Lightning, and on the other end, the other user is receiving dollars on chain. And everything done off-chain through hubs with minimum on-chain fees if the transactions are very low in amount. So the idea is that in the future, I mean, every token on RSK, I mean, today every token on RSK can use the Lumina network, but in the future, this is planned to be compatible with Lightning. And the final, we also have a RIF gateways, which interacts and lists all the oracles available in RSK. So the money on chain oracle will be listed there. The Chainlink oracle that is also available in RSK now will be listed there. And the final building block of the RIF ecosystem of solutions is called RIF marketplaces, where all these services are going to be or are already listed. But in the future, if you put all these components together, the vision is that you are going to be able to build a decentralized sharing economy or a decentralized social network. No, we believe that Bitcoin will not only inspire us as an ecosystem or community to build a fully decentralized open financial system, but also that once we achieve that, we're going to continue pushing and build a fully decentralized internet with users in the center controlling their information, their identity, and their reputation with their private keys, because it doesn't make sense that we control our value in a sovereign way, but then we keep on using centralized social networks and sharing economies that abuse on user information. So the dream is that in the future, you're going to be able to have an Airbnb or an Uber-like solution where the pictures of the driver or the apartment are hosted on decentralized storage, where the communication between the peers is done on a peer-to-peer basis, fully encrypted, where the payments are done peer-to-peer, and when the conditions and the agreement are set by a smart contract that cannot be changed once a company decides that has enough market share and wants to take advantage of the users. And on top of all of that, the identity and reputation of users is going to be held on a sovereign way. So if you have been working for Uber for 5 years or in a delivery, and that online reputation is extremely valuable for you, as we expect to be in the future, where your eBay reputation or Amazon, it's more worth in order to get a credit than your national ID. Well, you will never be able to be kicked out from the marketplace, losing all that reputation and contacts. And if you're not happy with the marketplace, you're going to be able to fork it, take contacts and reputation, and turn it into a new marketplace with better conditions. And in order to prove the concept, last year we acquired a project called Taringa, which is the largest Spanish-speaking social network in the world, with 12 million active users a month. And now we are in the process of decentralizing Taringa. So all the different components of the backend of Taringa are moving into RIF services. So we give control of the Taringa network to the users, where they benefit and monetize based on the value that they are generating, and where the reputation and their personal information is contained through RIF identity. So there's one application, for instance, that is called RIF single sign-on, that the Taringa users, or any user, I think, is going to be integrated in Defiant and other wallets in the space soon as well. enables you to read a newspaper or access a new website very easily without filling all the KYC information when it's required. But as opposed when you log in with Facebook or with Google, that they access all your navigation information and sell it in the market. When you use RIF single sign-on, no one else is receiving any information about your browsing in that specific website. So you decide what kind of information you want to share, how much, and you decide whether you want to monetize it or not. But we envision that Bitcoin will be this driving force that will help us first build a fully decentralized financial system, and then help us as users recover a fully decentralized internet as it should have been in the first place. So this is what we're doing in RIF. And if you want more information about this, you can go to rifos.org. All the services are listed there.
Great. Well, I mean, this is definitely the vision that, I mean, at least some of the people who have been in Bitcoin from the beginning kind of share. So if you are in Bitcoin, if you have been in Bitcoin for a long time, I mean, you simply cannot escape the philosophy that goes behind it. And this is exactly what you described with self-sovereign identity and all the different other services. So super interesting stuff, and I'm really happy that RSK is developing in this way, and it has already provided these tools. I wasn't aware, so super great that you guys have been here to present them. Since we're kind of running a bit ahead of time, let's quickly go through the rest of the questions. So one of the quick questions is basically, currently there is no automated market making on RSK, right? And yeah, on this parallel chain, right? There is no automated market making. It's just primarily order book based.
Actually, there is this RSK swap platform where you can add in the pairs and add liquidity for it's like Uniswap. And in the case of, I don't know, I'm really not so technical on exchanges, but what you will be able to do is to make what is called market maker order. You could make an order to sell RBTC or to buy RBTC on top of the price of Bitcoin, more or less X percentage. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there is a way to provide liquidity to this text on which you will earn money. Of course, you will decide how much you will charge on the price of the market. Obviously, you will need to trust the oracles that are the price feeders in this case. Okay, that is also it's public how we estimate the prices. And up to now, been running really smoothly for nearly 1 year. Actually, more than 1 year, because it's been in testnet for 1 year before launching, without any problem.
But as you were saying before, Vlad, the DeFi space is so interesting. Beyond the short-term speculation, which I think we all agree is not sustainable or has proven not to be sustainable, the technology behind it is super interesting. And many of those solutions are still not available on RSK. So this is a great opportunity. So hopefully we will see some of these solutions coming from Bulgaria soon. I would love to see that happening. And this is the reason why we spend so much time with Manu and everyone else in the RSK ecosystem, talking with all the different Bitcoin communities and explaining that this is a reality, that DeFi could also be built by Bitcoiners and for Bitcoiners, and so I really hope to see soon some of these wonderful solutions coming from the Bulgaria ecosystem as well.
There is when we build this, this like an essential part of any blockchain, any new protocol is to have a stablecoin. So you already have, actually, you have also RDI, and I hope other stablecoins come to RSK. So you already have. You have wallets. You have the DeFi wallet, which is a mobile wallet, which is actually connects with our platform, with RSK Swap, and now it's going to connect with Sovereign. Sovereign is a lending protocol that is going to be launched actually in the following week, I think. So there's many new things that is going to happen. It's happening, and hopefully there is more project from Bulgaria being built on Bitcoin Layer 2.
Yes, I hope so as well. And I hope this video kind of helps people to realize that how much exactly is happening on RSK and what are the opportunities there. So another quick question here. What about oracles? How do you?
Yeah, I think this is the one I already kind of covered in my last answer. So oracles are a key part of DeFi solutions. We have multiple providers, as Manuel Chain has made their oracles available for the ecosystem, and they're going to be at no cost for a year. So this is also very appreciated by the whole RSK community. And Chainlink made their oracles available for RSK using the bridge, so you can use the Chainlink oracles using our link on RSK.
Yeah. So maybe I was more referring to how decentralized are these oracles. So Chainlink is kind of, clear. It depends on, like, from oracle to oracle. It's kind of different when it comes to Chainlink, because they also serve real world data to institutions, and they have different security requirements. So their oracles are quite varied. But how about the money on chain oracle? How decentralized is that? Because oracles are really central points of failure. So if once someone messes with your oracle, lots of bad things could happen.
Yeah. So right now, our oracles are what we call semi-decentralized, are quite centralized, to be frank, for my standard. How it works, it takes, for example, in the case of Bitcoin, it takes the price of Bitcoin to US dollar from this time. I don't remember the biggest one, Crack and whatever, the biggest exchange in the world. It uses a median, and then we have several nodes informing the price, and there is a consensus, and if one price is out of the median, it's discarded. And right now it's like a federation, it's a trusted network of nodes that inform. It's not only money on chain. Money on chain is one of the nodes informing, but there is other actors. And how it's going to work in the very near future, anyone holding MOC token, which is this governance token, will be able to compete to have the privilege to run a node. And why to have the privilege to run a node? If you run a node, you will get more fees from the platform and some more mocks. So there is an economic incentive to run a node. And if you inform badly the price, the biggest problem that you will have, only the biggest money on chain holders will be able to run a node. And of course, if you inform badly the price, the token will be worthless. So there is a clear incentive to play fair in the game. So we Bitcoin is all technology of incentive. I will say is the most perfect incentive technology built by humankind. So we are building following Bitcoin standards, always thinking on incentives, bad players, good players, how to make everybody to behave well because they have the right incentive.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
No, sorry, Vlad, I was saying I agree with Manu. Given that we have this Bitcoiner mindset, we see Bitcoin as the ultimate goal of decentralization. And we understand that everything that we are building will have a very hard work to be as decentralized of this beautiful software that Satoshi made, but we're still pushing into that direction. So I think part of this idea of changing your mind as a Bitcoiner, understanding the importance of store of value and decentralization, and also accepting the decentralization as a process on the other solutions. Given that we are trying to do solutions that are so disruptive and so permissionless and so open to everyone in the world, we need these solutions to be decentralized and these oracles to be decentralized, because otherwise we won't be able to change the world. So it's not that decentralization, it should be our first priority all the time, because if we do not achieve a higher level of decentralization that is high enough to make the project and the ecosystem anti-fragile, everything that we are dreaming of will fail. Having said that, as Manu said, we're trying to build the things as decentralized as we can and push as much as we can with the economic incentives. So the farther the adoption and the more successful the projects are, the more decentralized they become.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's decentralization is a spectrum. So different projects are in different places on that spectrum, and it's a constant process of pushing them to be more decentralized. And definitely, game theory plays a huge part in all of that. Maybe we can go through Santiago's question real quick. It's quite specific.
Really quick. Right now is not. It's only published the day and the hour, more or less when it's expected. As you know, time in blockchain are measured by blocks. The blocks have not. Does not occur always at the same time. So in the following next user interface, we will inform actually the right block, exactly the right block in which the settlement is going to occur, but that we can calculate that. But we are going to move to that UI in the next couple of weeks. It's something that we need to do.
Great. Yeah. So maybe Santiago was not clear about this, but yeah, it's nothing in Bitcoin is measured in hours. It's always blocks.
Yeah.
Cool. And finally, but this is something that we already touched upon. As far as I understood, there is a bridge between RSK and Ethereum. You mentioned this a couple of times, right?
Yes.
And
there is a bridge. Actually, is RDAI and R-Link is running on RSK, and you can also move doc to use it in Ethereum. So there is already a bridge, and I know people. Actually, Mayan Chain is one of the nodes of that bridge. Gabriel knows that we are blockchain agnostic also. We are hardcore Bitcoiners. We love Bitcoin, but we are agnostic. We love obviously RSK for many reasons. But technology is technology.
Yes.
As we said before, infrastructure layer can provide the highest level of security at the lowest cost. Will be the one that users and projects will choose. So I think it's not one against each other, it's all of us working together to make our platforms more scalable, more secure, and enabling the lowest possible cost. Because as we said at the beginning, we are building technology with purpose here. We don't want to just build a financial system 2.0 for the upper and middle class, just with fast transactions. If we really believe that this is revolutionary, it's because it can transform this financial system that is leaving half of the population in this planet outside as a collateral damage. And in order to serve these billions of new users, we need to be able to do nano transactions at almost no cost. So scalability and transaction fees are extremely important in our vision, in the same way that decentralization is, because otherwise none of what we're doing is going to be revolutionary. So we encourage all projects on RSK to be blockchain agnostic, so they can serve as many users as possible. And we also encourage projects on Ethereum and other platforms to become blockchain agnostic and to benefit from this interoperability. As an ecosystem, this makes us more anti-fragile and gives us strength in order to drive this revolution and this change that is so difficult.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very happy that interoperability is actually getting more and more attention, and different chains are trying to interconnect. Initially, I guess, to interconnect to Ethereum, because most of the economic activity and liquidity is focused there at this point. But I kind of envision that in time, all of the different chains will be connected to each other. Okay, guys, great. I mean, that was a really interesting discussion, really interesting presentation about money on chain and different opportunities that it presents, and about RSK also. Really powerful tools there, and I like the philosophy, because I've shared the philosophy of 100%. Thank you so much for being part of Sofia Crypto Meetup, like the event, and we definitely need to keep in touch. And if you have some news coming out from either RSK or Money on Chain, let me know, and yeah, let's keep the Sofia Crypto Meetup community updated on that. I think
we will have many. I'm in your Facebook group, so I will share some news from time to time. And send me some photos of you sharing with the peers. I would love to see that. I hopefully next time I want to be there. I want to
be there as well.
Yeah,
sure. And of course, you are very welcome. As soon as this COVID-19 situation settles down, hopefully we'll start traveling again. So yeah, maybe we'll see.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vlad. Pleasure.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.